Welcome back to another episode of Gut Check Time. I'm your host. Today we'll be talking about NFL Week 12. Before that, can you please hit that like button? Please subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Thank you. Gambling picks on the year in the NFL not going well. It's pretty much been consistent throughout, whereas college football started out high and started to dip. I'm 54, 63, and 3, not great. Straight up picks have been pretty damn good though. Straight up 79, 65, and 1. So I'd be good with the money line. So I'd be good with the money line, so that's nice to see. Picking against spread, not so great. I think I'm going to do pretty well this week, though, just because the matchups, I like a lot of these matchups. They're pretty easy to pick, in my opinion. I'll probably go 0-12 now since saying that. I haven't had a week that bad. My worst week is 4-8. My best week, I believe, is 9-3. We're going to start with the Colts vs. Texans, a good Thursday night football game. And I believe this is the first or only fourth time in the Super Bowl era where you've had winning teams play on Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night versus each other. Only the fourth time. So it's a really good top-heavy week. The bottom tier games are terrible, though. Like I said, though, start out with the Thursday night game. Colts versus the Texans. Colts are plus 3.5 here on the road, which is kind of interesting to me. That's pretty much just saying the Texans have a 3-point. Well, they're pretty much saying, in my opinion, the Texans have a half a point better on a neutral field because usually in the NFL, home field advantage is worth 3 points, so that's kind of weird to me. I think the Colts are a way better team, especially with Jacoby Brissett, and I'm going to pick the Colts to win this game straight up. I am winning this game 24-20. All these games usually versus the Texans are low scoring. The last high scoring one I can remember was probably back in about 2015 or 16 with Andrew Luck when he had that 40 touchdown season. That was the last high scoring game I could remember between the two. Usually it's low scoring though ever since Deshaun Watson's been there. There's only been one or two high scoring games out of the 10 to 12 he's played. So I'm going to have, like I said, the Colts winning 24-20. I'm going to take the under a 45.5 here. I think both these defenses get after each other. Usually division games are they know each other pretty well, so the games usually tend to be a little bit more low scoring. That's why I'm going under 45.5, and I'm going Colts plus 3.5. Next up, Carolina versus New Orleans. Carolina is plus 9.5 here. It's not enough. New Orleans is going to win this game. Kyle Allen has finally been exposed. I've been waiting for this. Everyone that was saying they need to replace Cam Newton with him, listen. When you don't have film on someone, they perform way better than they actually, or they usually look way better than they actually are. Example, it's in college, but it's the same type of situation. Cardale Jones comes in, wins Ohio State the national championship. The next year, he's god awful. People have figured out he can't throw touch passes. He's a really good deep ball thrower, and he can fit in inside windows. But if you ask him to make a touch pass down the field, man, it's ugly. Kyle Allen isn't like that, but I just don't think he's good enough to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, he proved that. He transferred away from Texas A&M, played at Houston, wasn't good at Houston, lost the starting job there. He's not a good quarterback. So I would either keep Cam Newton for next year and draft a quarterback to develop, or draft a quarterback and just throw him in there because that's not a bad football team. They're, in my opinion, probably a quarterback and one other player away to make a serious Super Bowl run. So I wouldn't mind getting rid of Cam Newton if I'm a Panthers fan. We'll see what they do, though, in the offseason. I'm going to take the Saints to win this 31-20, and I'm taking the over of 47. Next up, Tampa Bay's getting 4 points on the road versus Atlanta. Atlanta's hit their hot streak. I've been waiting for this team the whole year. It frustrates me. This team has way too much talent. They have Vic Beasley on defense, who, yes, I know has underperformed since leading the league in sacks 3 to 4 years ago, but he's still a good football player. You have Desmond Trufant, Keanu Neal, and I know he's out for the year, and then Deion Jones. You have way too much talent on this team. Devondre Campbell on defense as well. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith when he's healthy. Devontae Freeman when he's healthy. They're a good football, really good football team talent-wise. I haven't looked at their schedule. If they win out, they make the playoffs. If they're 9-7, they will make the playoffs, and they could win the division actually because they've beaten Carolina and they've beaten New Orleans, and they play each one of those teams one other time each. And they also play Tampa Bay 2 other times. So if they go 5-1 in the division, they can drop one game. They win the division, they're in the playoffs, and they'd be a dangerous team in the playoffs. I love Dan Quinn as a coach, so my Super Bowl picks are still alive. I guess I don't really actually I believe in Atlanta more at this point than Kansas City. Kansas City does not look good, even though they're winning football games. I'm going to take Atlanta to win this game 34-28, so I'm taking Atlanta -4 here, and I'm taking the over 51. I'm never going to bet on Jameis Winston because he turns the ball over way too much. Next up, Dallas versus New England. New England's almost impossible to beat in November or December or anytime after November in the play, especially in the playoffs, unless your name is even Peyton Manning couldn't really even win there. All their games were pretty much they were so evenly matched. The two teams were the Colts and Patriots, and quarterback wise, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Whoever had the home field advantage would win. The only guy that really has had any success there and looked good multiple times is Joe Flacco, which just tells you the randomness of the NFL playoffs. I think New England wins the game. I think it's a close game. I think it probably comes down to whoever has the ball last, and I expect Tom Brady to probably get the ball last and drive down for another one of those late touchdowns, and I think New England wins 27-20. The only way Dallas wins this game is if Ezekiel Elliott rushes for over 100 yards, and I don't think Bill Belichick will allow that to happen because I think Dak Prescott has proven himself to be a good quarterback. The problem is New England has a fantastic secondary, probably the best in football. So I'm going to take New England, like I said, 27-20, and I'm going to take the over of 45 here. Green Bay versus San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. I think it's going to be a good game. I think Green Bay wins this game by 1 point. I think this is just like the New England-Dallas game. It comes down to a last couple minute drive. I think Aaron Rodgers puts one together and beats Jimmy G at home. I don't believe in the 49ers. I know they're 9-1. The eye test just doesn't do it for me. I think the Saints are the best team in the NFC, and in the AFC, I would probably go with the Ravens right now. That'd be an interesting Super Bowl. That's just right now, though. There's plenty of time. It's not after Thanksgiving. To me, don't judge a team until after Thanksgiving. That's when you really should start to pay attention to me. It's kind of like NBA. Don't judge teams until after Christmas. But I'm going to take the Packers to win this game. I think they just do enough on both sides of the ball. And that's kind of been the story of the season. Their defense at the beginning of the season was really good. We've seen what it is. It's okay. We've seen what their offense is. It can be great at times, but it's just okay. It's not great. They don't do anything great. They do everything well, though. I'm going to take the Packers, like I said, 28-27. And I'm going to take, so that means I'm taking Green Bay +3, and I'm taking the over of 48. Next up, Baltimore versus the Rams. Everyone is on Baltimore. I'm going to take Baltimore, but I could see the Rams pulling the upset here. I could see Aaron Donald just disrupting this game. They're going to have to run a lot of outside running plays for Lamar Jackson. I really hope they don't run it up the middle because he could seriously get hurt in this game. Aaron Donald can wreck a game. And if you're going to run a bunch of quarterback powers up the middle with your lead blockers being running backs and tight ends, they will lose this game. They better start running the outside, using that athleticism to their advantage. I expect them to do that. John Harbaugh and Greg Roman have coached Lamar Jackson very well, handled the situation very well. So I expect them to use his strengths and run to the outside with his athleticism. So I'm going to take Baltimore, but in a close game and a low-scoring game compared to what they're used to. 24-20 Baltimore, so I'm taking the under 46.5, and I'm taking the Rams +3. We're going to run through these next ones. These are just going to be straight-up picks. Oakland versus the Jets, I'm taking the Jets. I think the Jets are hot right now, and the Raiders are not good on the road. Detroit versus Washington, I'm going to take Washington if Matthew Stafford doesn't play. If he plays, I'm taking Detroit. If he doesn't play, I'm taking Washington for the simple fact Jeff Driscoll's not that good. I think he's Mitch Trubisky, to be honest with you. That's who he reminds me of. So I think Washington wins the game if Matthew Stafford doesn't play. If he does play, I'm taking Detroit. Seattle versus Philadelphia, I'm taking Philadelphia. And this video is being recorded on Wednesday, by the way, so that's why I'm saying. If I knew, I would just tell you who I would pick in that Detroit versus Washington game. But anyways, Seattle versus Philadelphia. I'm taking Philadelphia at home, coming off the New England Patriots loss. I think they come back and beat the Seahawks. I think Carson Wentz has a bounce-back game. He needs a big game here, a 300-yard type passing game with a couple touchdowns. They really need that offensively. Miami versus Cleveland. I think Cleveland wins, but I think it's a lot closer than most Browns fans would want it to be. The Giants versus Chicago. I'm taking the Giants. I think Daniel Jones plays well here, and I don't believe in Chase Daniel or Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. And I don't believe in Matt Nagy at coach anymore. He seems to throw his players under the bus and not give a crap. So I'm going to take the Giants. Denver versus Buffalo. I think my Broncos pick up a unexpected win here. I think the Bills are the worst over 500 team in football. I think the Broncos are the best under 500 team in football. I think they beat the Bills on the road. Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. I don't care who plays quarterback for either team. I don't care who plays wide receiver for either team. Because Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith will probably be out. Guess what? I don't care. Pittsburgh's a way better team than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's terrible. Now, I will say this. This is a winnable game for Cincinnati. I don't care. I don't think they'll win the game. I don't believe in Ryan Finley, especially watching him a little bit versus Oakland last week. He's terrible. Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati. Jacksonville versus Tennessee. I'm taking Jacksonville. I think Nick Foles gets his first win as a Jaguar. I think they win by 2+ touchdowns. That will do it for my NFL Week 12 preview and predictions. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Thank you.